In 2005, an anonymous source sent a series of emails to a UFO discussion group led by former U.S. government employee Victor Martinez. These emails detailed the existence of an exchange program between the U.S. government and the Ebens, alien beings from Serpo, a planet from the Zeta Reticuli star system. The program was thus called Project Serpo. The source identified himself as a retired employee of the government, claiming he had participated in a special program. The program's origins lay with the two UFO crashes in New Mexico in 1947, the famous Roswell incident and another one in Corona. He claimed one extraterrestrial survived the crash and was transferred to the Los Alamos National Laboratory. The other 6 deceased extraterrestrials were placed in a freezing facility in the same laboratory. Establishing communications with the scientists and military personnel, the survivor provided them with the location of its home planet and continued to cooperate until its death in 1952. The alien provided information regarding the items found inside the crashed UFOs. One of the items was a communication device that it was allowed to use, contacting its home planet. A meeting was set for April 1964 when an alien craft landed near Alamogordo, New Mexico. Upon retrieving the bodies of their dead comrades, the extraterrestrials engaged in an information exchange that was carried out in English thanks to the aliens' translation device. One thing led to another, and in 1965, the aliens accepted to take a group of humans back to their planet as part of the exchange program. 12 military personnel were carefully selected for a 10-year stay on Serpo. The 10 men and 2 women were specialists in various fields, and their task was to gather as much information as possible regarding all aspects of life, society, and technology on the alien planet. They were 3 years late and 4 people short when they finally returned in 1978. 2 men had died on the alien planet. 1 man and 1 woman had decided to stay. The journey to Serpo, located 37 light years from Earth, took only 9 months aboard the alien craft. They had learned that Serpo was a planet similar to our own, albeit smaller. It orbited around a binary star system and had an atmosphere similar in composition to the one on Earth. However, the 2 suns meant there were higher levels of radiation, and the 12 humans had to resort to protection at all times. 2 of them died from complications. The heat was extreme, and it took the remaining humans several years to adjust. Another problem was the food. The crew had taken enough food to last them for 2.5 years, but eventually had to resort to eating native Eben food. Anyone who's traveled abroad knows about the serious gastrointestinal implications posed by eating local food, but the human crew eventually adjusted. Another problem was the length of the day on Serpo, which was 43 Earth hours long. Also, it never got fully dark, as their night skies were dimly lit by the smaller sun. The crew had complete freedom to explore the alien planet, and they were not hindered in any way. The geology of the alien world was different. There were few mountains and no oceans. Several types of plant-like life existed, but mostly near the polar area, where it was cooler. There was also types of animal life, and some of the larger ones was used by Ebens for work and other tasks, but never as food sources. They produced their food through industrial processes, of which they had many. The inhabitants of Serpo lived in small communities led by a large city. They lacked a central government, but seemed to be doing fine without it. The Ebens had leadership and an army, but the Earth team noticed they never used weapons of any type, and violence was virtually unheard of. They had no concept of money or commerce. Every Eben was issued items in accordance with their needs. The planet's population was about 650,000 individuals. The human crew noted that Ebens were disciplined in all aspects of their lives, working on schedules based on the movements of their suns. There were no other civilizations on Serpo except the Ebens. Their method of reproduction was similar to our own, but it had a much lower success rate. Therefore, their children were highly isolated. In fact, the only problem the human crew had was when they intended to photograph Eben children. they were escorted away by the army and asked not to attempt that again. Upon returning to Earth, the remaining 8 members of the expedition were quarantined for a year. During this period, they were debriefed, and the complete account amassed around 3,000 pages. All members of the expedition have since died from various complications due to radiation exposure. The fate of the 2 people who chose to remain on Serpo is unknown. The Ebens have not contacted Earth since 1985.
Somebody thought that malicious aliens will try at some point to conquer the Earth, and that's how the top secret space program known as Solar Warden was put in place, or better said, in orbit. The futuristic project of such amplitude could have only been completed with the aid of advanced alien technology, be it from reverse engineering, recovered artifacts or crafts, or through direct help received from the benevolent species of ETs that seemingly support the humankind. The Solar Warden space program had been initiated about 30 years ago and has since been operational in Earth's orbit without the general public knowing about it. It might sound a bit far-fetched, but let's have a look at what the British hacker Gary McKinnon had found in 2001, laying on the digital shelves of the US military. After hacking his way into about 100 US military and NASA terminals in search of government's files on free energy and other technologies potentially useful for the public, McKinnon came across an unexpected yield: secret files mentioning of non-terrestrial officers, and also information about fleet-to-fleet transfers. During his search, another term kept appearing more often than others: Solar Warden. There are some very credible, relied upon people, all saying yes, there is UFO technology, there is anti-gravity, there is free energy, and it's extraterrestrial in origin, and they have captured spacecrafts and reverse engineered them, said Gary McKinnon. The hacker was involved with the Disclosure Project prior to his illegal intrusion into NASA's servers, a non-profit group whose goal is to disclose to the public the government's alleged knowledge of UFOs, extraterrestrial intelligence, and advanced energy and propulsion systems. You can imagine the hustle he caused inside US institutions, at that time serving under George W. Bush, who was the head of state. After the Justice Department identified the perpetrator, a merciless accusation claiming this was the biggest military computer hack of all time, demanded McKinnon's immediate extradition. The outcome, if honored by the United Kingdom, would have sentenced the hacker to life in prison and millions of dollars prejudice to be paid. Fortunately, after a series of legal proceedings in Britain, McKinnon was exonerated due to the game-changing information he still possessed, but was forbid to reveal as an outcome of the bargain. However, none could retract the previously disclosed information, which even today remain available to the public. Here is what the UK hacker had revealed about top-secret space fleet known as Solar Warden. It incorporates numerous spaceships with various particularities. There are 8 huge cigar-shaped motherships and approximately 4 dozen smaller scout vessels. The fleet is operated by the United States Naval Network and Space Operations Command (NNCOC), with hundreds of space marines serving aboard 3 crafts. Each mothership has about 300 researchers and technicians on deck. Not much is known about the initial phase of the Solar Warden, nor the agencies and corporations involved with financing and designing it. But rumors inside the UFO community speak of direct assistance from other extraterrestrial species. Other earthly benefactors consist of various black budget program contractors in the US aerospace sector which are actively committed to expand the solar warden. Other countries contributing to this top-secret mission are the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, and Russia. Solar warden technology is constantly tested inside secret bases such as Area 51, S4, Wright-Patterson, AFB, Dugway Proving Grounds, and the notorious Dulce underground base. The claims cannot be probed with ease, considering their secretive nature. But here is why this entire story is closer to reality than fiction. In 1993, ex-Lockheed Martin Skunk Works CEO Ben Rich had a speech at the O-Class James Alumni Center in Los Angeles about the advancement in space engineering registered during the last 40 years. The last presented picture offered a sneak peek at a black disc-like object zipping out into outer space, followed by Ben's enthusiastic words claiming that we now have the technology to take ET home. The audience didn't take his statement for granted, but rather with a hefty grain of salt. They were, however, unaware that Lockheed's Skunk Works have been designing and manufacturing high-tech aircraft for more than 70 years. Of their accomplishments, reminding the U-2 bomber, the F-22 Raptor, the SR-71 Blackbird, and the F-117 Nighthawk. With this in mind, coupled with the innovations in technology we see today, it comes natural to assume that Skunk Works are also responsible for other futuristic flying devices of whom we haven't heard of. It's been over 20 years since Ben Rich boasted about his company achievements. And if his statement was correct, we can only speculate about the capabilities of present-day devices. Should we then credit earthly manufacturers for the skyrocketing number of UFO sightings in recent years? Are flying saucers part of this notorious solar warden? If so, the existence of an ultra-secret space program for exceeding our human imagination would certainly explain a number of things on this planet that don't add up, and of course clean the reputation of everyone labeled as a conspiracy theorist.
If you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing to us and hitting the like button. Feel free to write a comment below and suggest which theory you want to see next. If you'd like to further support this channel, please consider joining. Our membership link will be found in the description box below. We appreciate your support, and as always, thanks for watching.